Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and we are your hosts for today. Your location to get information and rants from two guys who run two comic book themed channels and want to talk about all the TV shows and movies that are out there. We run a successful podcast called Absolute Comics. We run Comic Pop and we run Comic Story. And if you want to be a part of this channel, join us by hitting that subscribe button, smashing like, and joining the Absolute Army by turning on your notifications. All right. Morbius trailer. And so we tried to do this a minute ago.
Yeah, we ended up talking about trailer culture, but let's sink our teeth deep into Morbius.
Yep.
Coming out at the height of movie season, January 29th.
Which is so weird, because we're about to go over a whole bunch of crazy Easter eggs. First off, Morbius, it was delayed because of COVID. Yep. And then it got delayed again post-COVID, but they started putting out other movies, and and the general consensus was this got bumped to January because it was going to be shit. That's, right. For those who don't know, in the movie production studios, entertainment doesn't try to put things out until after Valentine's Day. And the reason is, most of the money has been spent advertising things up until Christmas, and most consumers have spent all their money in Christmas. Most consumers do not consume content until about February because they don't have money.
Right.
This trailer shows that this delay was not for they don't think it's going to succeed. It was to throw in so many things that they're hoping this will be $1 billion movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they're hoping for a Deadpool effect, because Deadpool was dropped on Valentine's Day, which is a notoriously terrible time to drop a movie. But if it works and if it's exciting and there's no competition, it could make a lot of money, like Deadpool did. Yeah. And Morbius, I hate the idea of making a Morbius solo movie. I am against the idea of a Spider-Man Sony universe. I don't like this idea at all. I've never been a part of it, and I think this movie is going to be great.
I'm excited
I don't think it's
for this
be
movie.
Great. I think it's going to do great.
I'm excited for this movie. I don't give two flying whatevers to Morbius.
About Morbius.
I think he's one of the most basic and terrible characters in Marvel's franchise, because they tried to make a vampire without making a vampire because of comics code.
Right.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, he's a sci-fi vampire. I mean, honestly, I kind of like that idea. I like creativity from adversity, and Morbius is one of those things. I just also think it's he's a holdover from, I think Jerry Conway just really wanted to do a monster movie.
Yeah.
And so he created Morbius, and I'm like, okay, but I don't think that Morbius can sustain a movie franchise.
We'll find out. I mean, people would have said Venom can't, and he's doing great.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
except Venom's had more solo series than Morbius has. I think Morbius had 4. Anyway, doesn't matter.
So let's cut into the actual trailer here. So we open up with what is obviously going to be his origins. There's a helicopter flying over into a mountain range, and we see Jared Leto. Now, we see Jared Leto walking with the cane, making his feet not work properly. And I, knowing how Jared Leto works, feel like he's been walking like that for 2 years now.
Right.
He's a method actor, and I have a feeling that has been his just walk now.
Yeah. Well, until he flies. But yes, we're establishing, okay, Michael Morbius is impaired, and as a result, he needs to show where he starts and then where he ends up.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So they show through him getting awards and everything like that. He's a genius doctor who's been inflicted with whatever they're going to make his disease in the movie. So.
Right. In the comics, he had a blood disease, which causes him to be a vampire man. In this, he has a disease, I guess, that makes him need more research done. I think it's that it's funny because you'd think he's going to do it to fix himself, but the trailer suggests there's another kid. There's this kid who is afflicted probably with the same thing, and he's I'm going to solve this thing and save this kid's life.
Yeah, he's always ignored his own ailment to help everyone else, and now it's finally something that'll help him.
Yes.
So he goes out to what appears to be his location, and I don't know what he's doing there, but he's calling bats. So I think he's trying to become Batman.
He's going the Catwoman Batman Returns route of being bit by a lot of some kind of animal that will give him the powers of what he needs. We'll get into it, but yeah, he gets bit by a lot of bats.
So then we cut to a couple of scenes of it looks like people looking for him.
Yes.
And it turns into a creepy vibe.
Yeah, it turns into a horror movie on the boat, right? He's
I like that, because then he's yanking people into the ceilings. We got darkness, we got flashing. Looks almost like Aliens.
Yeah, I could see Aliens. I could see Batman Begins out of this. It's very like atmospheric and horror movie-esque, and it's fun. This is an interesting idea because it's like, it comes out in January. It's made by Sony. Doesn't have to worry about ratings or comics codes or anything. So Jared Leto could be a sympathetic character who then slaughters everyone on the boat, and it's just because he's a vampire man. And you as the audience are like, well, he's just so dreamy. I don't care.
I mean, it is Jared Leto. I mean,
yeah, who I hate as an actor and I think sucks.
I do like this, though. If you go to about 111-ish on the trailer-ish around that area, you see how emancipated he is and, like, not emancipated, but, like...
Emaciated.
Emaciated, yeah. He's, like, drained. And then they immediately show you after that, like, no, but it is Jared Leto. Here's his abs.
Look at his abs. Look at him. I gotta say, the Morbius effect, like, what he looks like, top-notch.
Yeah. So we cut to... seeing his powers, we see the usual superhero stuff. Okay, he's got strength. He's got sonar. He's got
sonar, but he won't say it.
Yeah.
He has, quote, some kind of bat radar that has a word.
And then we see him chasing the A train, or flying in front of the A train.
Yeah, we're putting him in New York because we can afford it now. Back in the day when we used to make Marvel movies, couldn't afford to shoot in New York, couldn't afford to pretend to shoot in New York, so we're going to set it anywhere else. Tampa, Malibu, wherever. Now, Sony, we got our druthers, New York.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Even though Morbius first appeared where? Florida.
Did he?
Yep.
I don't know that much about Morbius. I'll give you that. I don't know that much about Morbius, so.
Yeah, could have saved a whole bunch of money. Shoot it in Tampa again.
So then we finally see him tasting the blood. He's slashing. He's cutting. Like, the whole beginning of this trailer is just the Morbius movie.
Yes.
Which I'm not against. It's fine.
Well, it's also, they're like, we're making a vampire movie. Remember, the first most successful Marvel Studios or Marvel movie was 1999's Blade.
Yeah.
Vampire movie. So I think Sony knows, like, you go vampires.
But I want to give them credit for doing this in the trailer. They waited until post 150 to start showing you all the crazy links.
Yes.
Like, the beginning of this trailer just shows you it's a superhero-themed movie that's going to be horror-themed, and it's got a vampire. Boom. Everything about the beginning doesn't tell me anything about the movie. It doesn't spoil anything about the movie. And I'm actually kind of excited after seeing the effects and everything, because I like horror movies. I like Marvel movies. So for me, even if this is going to tank, up until here, I'm still on board. I'm like, this is cool. I like this.
It's brilliant because you know what that is? That's for everyone else. Like, literally, that's the trailer for everybody. So people who are easily swayed by trailers or who just want to see a horror movie in January, they're sold. And then the rest of the trailer is for the internet.
Right. So the rest of it now shows the locations. We get to see at 156 is the Daily Bugle logo, where's that one come from? Because you mentioned this one.
Okay, so yeah, the Daily Bugle newspaper is in Venom, but it also uses the similar logo to the Raimi movies. Because there's no Daily Bugle newspaper in the MCU. Which is a
they
real
have
shame.
the net.
Yeah, that's a YouTube channel run by J. Jonah Jameson.
Right.
The DailyBugle.net. So, okay, that's your first distinction. Okay, so you're watching the movie, you're like, okay, got it. Morbius takes place in probably takes place in the Venomverse. Okay.
Right. And then the next scene here at 159, we talk about the San Francisco incident and how weird that was in comparison to this. So for me, I'm like, okay, there's a Venom connection. That makes sense.
Yes.
Right?
And it makes total sense to set Morbius in the Venom movie. Hey, you could, I mean, you know what really is too bad for Sony is that Sony used to have the Ghost Rider license. Yeah. So Sony could have made a straight up Midnight Suns movie with Morbius, Venom, and Ghost Rider, but
they didn't
hang on to it. Well, they failed with 2 movies. But anyway, so
San Francisco, those Nick Cage movies are amazing.
Amazingly bad.
No, we are going to rewatch those now. That is going on this channel. We are going to rewatch the first one.
No, the first one's the worst one.
I know. That's why. So the next scene that comes up that makes everyone question where this is the 204. We have the Sam Raimi Spider-Man costume and the words murderer plastered on it. Now, this was in the original trailer, which tells me back then they were working this out. They were working this whole thing out.
Now, if you look closely, you'll see that it is a still from the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man video game.
Right, which everyone assumed maybe they just had the rights to the game, and this was how they were going to do their own way to link it in or something like that.
But he's wearing the Raimi suit.
Right, which is very obviously Sony, which I'll make... So this is the second thing where everyone... Because by keeping this in the trailer, this has been approved now by Disney twice.
Totally.
This didn't slip in.
No. And it says murderer over it, which people thought MCU Spider-Man was.
Yes.
So what? Like, what does this imply? Probably nothing. We shouldn't really worry about it.
But so it's basically, it's there. So we have Raimi costume, implications of the MCU, but the very next scene is very heavy in the MCU. We have MCU's Vulture turning around and being like, hey, Dr. Morbius, we should talk.
Yes. Now you're like, okay, wait a minute. Because I remember Michael Keaton was in the first trailer too at the end. He was a stinger. And you're like, okay. Because they didn't make any Venom references in the first trailer. They made 2 Venom references and a Michael Keaton reference in this trailer. So now it's like, okay, we were established within the first 2 minutes of the trailer, 2.5 or 1.5 minutes, this movie takes place in the Venomverse. Okay. Then Vulture shows up. Oh, well, people have been talking about how maybe Venom takes place in the MCU anyway, so I guess, yeah, it could, except for the Daily Bugle, which is a newspaper. But you know what? In Let There Be Carnage, we see the Daily Bugle as a newspaper anyway, so I guess that's okay.
It starts to do like the Charlie Day like thing on the board. Like, how does it link? Because so the trailer continues showing off all of his powers and the special effects, which to me solidified this as, even if this was going to be the worst movie ever, I'm going to watch it because your effects look incredible. Sony is not limiting the budget on this. They are not at all. No. Or this is the only effects used, and the rest of the movie has 0 effects.
Right. The rest of the movie is just Jared Leto with his abs.
The last thing that was referenced in here, though, was Horizon Labs, wasn't it? I don't know where that scene was.
I didn't see Horizon, but I did hear that Horizon Labs is referenced. But the thing that I noticed, or the thing that I've heard noticed, is the sweeping shot of the city and Oscorp Tower.
Yes.
Because Oscorp's in it, but not the Oscorp from the Raimi movies, the Oscorp from the Amazing Spider-Man Garfield movies.
Yes. And Horizon is also referenced and also in the very similar, in the comic books, Horizon's a very important thing to Spider-Man for the last 10 years.
Yeah, Sony has rights to use Horizon. And I think they know, well, maybe they don't. I mean, they used Ravencroft in both Venom movies. They have access to all these different set pieces from Spider-Man's history. So I'm sure they could probably use it. Hell, they could probably use Symkaria, wherever Silver Sable's from.
True. But here's a big thing. Okay. The last scene here, the stinger, is him looking down going, I am Venom. And then saying he's joking. This opens up a whole can of worms. Because one, the world doesn't know about Venom. That's like part of the plot in Venom 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But they're referencing the San Francisco incident. We're getting other Venom references. And now Morbius is straight up saying the name Venom.
Yeah.
Do you think that line is for the trailer? Or they're going to tell you that Venom exists and we know he exists and we're going to get more information on that later?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they didn't remember that Venom was like a secret. Like, I maybe like in the underground world, people know about Venom.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think that it could have been just an outtake that Leto tried out because his delivery of like, I'm just kidding, I'm Michael Morris at your service, like they're old friends, and it's like, what? But it could be an outtake that turned into a real scene. It could be that that maybe Sony is good at planning, or it could be that they just don't know, and they're like, just throw it all in, put it all in,
put it all in the trailer, and when the movie comes out, we'll see what we cut.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even coming out until January anyway. We could cut it literally up until the first or second week in January. We're good.
So this opens up a bunch of questions, and I think you, me, and Dylan need to have a talk about this when we kind of get more information. But what is going on with the Marvel Universe? Because now X-Men, Venom, everything is just kind of being thrown in there, and it's just kind of a big question. But we'll get back to that later. Are you excited about this based on the base movie, and are you more excited knowing that it's going to be linked somehow to something?
I'm frustrated that it is going to be linked. I'm worried that, like, because here's the thing, Sony wanted to make their like interconnected Spider-Man universe. That's why they're making a Craven movie, they're making a Morbius movie, they made 2 Venom movies. They're probably going to work on a Black Cat movie because Black Cat is referenced in the Daily Bugle article on the screen in this trailer. So they're working towards it. They're building up their little universe over there. Now, them linking it to the MCU or any other things just, I think, complicates things because you have 2 different universes. That's fine. But then with the implications of what happens at the end of Venom 2, plus the multiverse, plus like more friendly relationships between Sony and Disney, I don't know. I think that it's going to get a lot more complicated, and I think that like they're going to. I mean, look at how DC's handling their universe. How they're like, who cares? Nobody. It turns out most people don't care.
No,
and
they don't.
I think Sony's like, why would we tie our hands? Why not just do it all? Just whatever.
I mean, this shows that a lot of deals have been made with Marvel at this point. Like,
sure, yeah.
I don't think we're going to lose Spider-Man again.
I don't think so. Unless Sony feels like they're getting too big for their britches or Disney gets greedy. So that could happen at any time.
Yeah.
But
so I've already said multiple times, I'm excited for this movie in general. The connections are just going to make it more fun to watch.
Sure.
Trying to pinpoint where it is, and then the car ride home explaining it to my wife how it's all linked together. She'll be like, "What was all that? Is it Venom? Is it?" And I'll have to be like, "I don't know. It's a Spider-Man." Well, Spider-Man will be over at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider-Man outs Venoms of the world.
I mean, that could. Here's the thing: there's no way Venom's not going to be in this Spider-Man movie. So
we've already seen Tom Hardy with the hat on.
Yeah.
I mean, what if the ending? What if Sony botches No Way Home? The ending is all the Spider-Man land. They're fighting the villains, and Venom comes out of nowhere. I'm a hero too, and the world is revealed to Venom.
There you go.
And now Morbius is going, I am Venom. Like,
right, because he knows, like, hey, it's out. I don't know. There's a lot of resting on this No Way Home movie.
Yeah, there is.
I do not envy the producers and the studio for making this movie because yeesh, are there going to be a lot of expectations. I love Feige being like, you better manage those expectations, ladies and gentlemen, because we're not going to do everything. Look, we're not going to save Morbius with No Way Home. We're not going to set up like new Spider-Man movies with different actors in No Way Home. We're not like a soft rebooting Daredevil in No Way Home. Like, maybe they're doing all of those things, but maybe you won't like it. So who knows?
I just love the No Way Home hype where they're like, this might, if we all go see this movie, we might get Spider-Man 4 by Raimi and Tobey Maguire. I'm like, no, you will never get that. There will never. But anyway, Morbius, I'm hyped for it. Are you?
It looks like a movie, as opposed to, I might actually see it. We'll see.
All right.
I didn't see Venom when it came out, so I might see Morbius. We'll see.
Right. But you did eventually see Venom.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw it on streaming. But, like, I might see Morbius within the year it came out.
Yeah. Well, we are absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny. That is Sal. Let us know your opinions of the Morbius trailer down below. And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join the Absolute Brand Army by hitting the notification button. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here.